There's something I've been thinking about lately, something that doesn't get talked about nearly enough. It's that quiet, creeping feeling that can settle in when the house feels a little too empty, when the phone doesn't ring as often as it used to, or when you realize it's been days since you've had a real, meaningful conversation with someone. That feeling? It's loneliness. And if you're over 70, it's not just a passing emotion. It can be downright dangerous. Now, I know what you might be thinking. I've lived a long life. I'm used to being on my own. What's the big deal? But here's the thing. Loneliness isn't just about missing company. It can take a real toll on your health, your mind, even your lifespan. Studies show that chronic loneliness can be as harmful as smoking 15 cigarettes a day. It weakens your immune system, raises your risk of heart disease, and can even speed up memory loss. But here's the good news. It doesn't have to be this way. Building meaningful friendships, real, lasting connections, is one of the most powerful things you can do for your health and happiness at this stage of life. And the best part? It doesn't have to be complicated. In fact, I'm going to share 7 simple, practical ways to do just that. Ways that don't require you to be the life of the party or force yourself into uncomfortable situations. These are small, doable steps that can make a world of difference. So, let's start with the first one. And this might surprise you. It's not about going out and meeting strangers or joining a big social group. No, the first step is much simpler. Reconnect with old friends. Think about it. How many people from your past do you still think about? That coworker you used to share lunches with, the neighbor who moved away years ago, or even a cousin you lost touch with. Those relationships already have history, shared memories, and a foundation of trust. And thanks to technology, reconnecting is easier than ever. A quick phone call, a handwritten letter. Yes, people still love those. Or even a message on Facebook can reopen a door you thought was closed. Now, I know reaching out after years or even decades can feel intimidating. You might worry, what if they don't remember me? Or what if they're too busy? But here's the truth. Most people are just as happy to hear from you as you'd be to hear from them. Start small. A simple, I was thinking about you the other day and just wanted to say hello is all it takes. You'd be amazed how many friendships can pick up right where they left off. Once you've taken that first step, the next one is all about creating opportunities for connection in your everyday life. And that brings us to habit number 2. Find a routine that gets you out of the house. Now, I'm not talking about signing up for something overwhelming. It's about small, consistent outings where you'll see the same people regularly. Maybe it's a weekly coffee at the same diner, a morning walk in the park, or a chair yoga class at the local community center. When you show up in the same place at the same time, you start to recognize faces, and they start to recognize you. Take my friend Robert, for example. He started going to the same bench by the pond every Tuesday morning to feed the ducks. Before long, he met another man who did the same thing. They began chatting, then bringing extra bread to share, and now they plan their weeks around those mornings. It's not about the ducks anymore. It's about the company. The key here is to choose something you already enjoy or something that feels easy. If you love gardening, visit a nursery regularly. If you like reading, try a library book club. The activity itself is just the doorway. The real magic happens in the conversations that follow. And speaking of conversations, that leads us to the third way to build meaningful friendships. Be the one who listens. Now, this might sound counterintuitive. After all, isn't friendship about sharing your own stories too? Of course it is. But one of the quickest ways to make someone feel valued is to truly listen to them. Ask questions, show curiosity. So many people, especially at our age, just want to feel heard. Next time you're talking to someone, try this. Instead of waiting for your turn to speak, really focus on what they're saying. Nod. Smile. Ask follow-up questions like, how did that make you feel? or what happened next. You'll be amazed at how quickly people open up when they sense you're genuinely interested. And here's the beautiful part. When you listen deeply, people remember you. They look forward to seeing you. They start to share more, and before you know it, those small interactions turn into real friendships. Now, we've covered reconnecting with old friends, finding a routine that gets you out of the house, and becoming a great listener. These are all simple, gentle ways to start building connections without feeling overwhelmed. But there are still two more powerful habits to explore. Habits that can take those budding friendships and turn them into something deeper and more meaningful. Before we proceed, please take a moment to subscribe to our channel. Thank you. You know, one of the most beautiful things about friendship is that it doesn't always have to be planned. Sometimes the best connections happen when we least expect them. But here's the secret. We can create more of those moments just by shifting our mindset a little. That brings us to habit number 4, embrace the power of small invitations. Think about the last time someone asked you to join them for something simple. A cup of tea, a walk around the block, or even just sitting together on the porch. Didn't it make you feel included? Wanted? That's the magic of a small invitation. And the truth is, most people won't turn down a genuine, low-pressure offer. So, the next time you're chatting with someone, whether it's a neighbor, a fellow grocery shopper, or someone from your exercise class, try saying something like, "I was going to have a slice of pie at the diner later. Would you like to join me?" Or, "I usually sit outside in the mornings with my coffee if you ever want company." It doesn't have to be fancy. In fact, the simpler, the better. Now, I know what might be holding you back. Maybe you worry, what if they say no? But here's the thing. A no isn't personal. Maybe they're busy that day, or maybe they're just not in the mood. That's okay. The point is to keep extending those little invitations anyway, because more often than not, people will say yes. And even if it doesn't lead to a lifelong friendship right away, it plants a seed. It lets them know you're open to connection. And speaking of connection, let's talk about habit number 5. Share something of yourself. This one can feel a little vulnerable, but it's where real friendships are born. You see, small talk can only take us so far. It's when we share our stories, our quirks, even our struggles, that we start to bond on a deeper level. Now, I'm not saying you have to pour out your life story to everyone you meet. Start small. Maybe mention a memory that came to mind, like that song on the radio just reminded me of the dances we used to have in the old community hall. Those were some nights, weren't they? Or share something you're enjoying lately, whether it's a new hobby or an old favorite book. When you open up just a little, it gives the other person permission to do the same. Suddenly, you're not just two people passing time, you're sharing experiences. You're finding common ground. And that's where friendship grows. Take my friend Martina, for example. She started bringing her old photo albums to her senior center's coffee hour. At first, people would just glance at the pictures politely. But then, someone recognized a street in one of the photos, and suddenly, everyone was sharing their own memories. Those albums weren't just photos. They were conversation starters, bridges between people who'd been sitting together for months without really knowing each other. Now, you don't need photo albums to make this work. It could be anything that matters to you. A recipe, a skill you've learned, even just an observation about how things have changed over the years. When you share something real, you give friendship a place to take root. And here's something important to remember. Building these connections isn't about being the most outgoing person in the room. It's about showing up as yourself, the same wonderful, experienced, authentic person you've always been. The right people will appreciate that. They'll respond to it. We've covered some powerful habits so far. Reconnecting with old friends, establishing routines that get you out, becoming a great listener, extending small invitations, and sharing pieces of your life. But there's still more to explore about how to nurture these friendships and make them last. After all, what good is planting a garden if we don't tend to it? So, let's keep going. If you haven't subscribed to our channel yet, please take a moment to do so and like our content. You know, there's something truly special about the friendships we form later in life. They don't carry the same pressures as the ones we had when we were younger. No office politics, no competing over whose kids are doing better, none of that. These friendships are simpler, richer, and often more honest. But like anything worth having, they need a little care. That brings us to habit number 6, show up consistently. Now, this might sound obvious, but it's surprising how many potential friendships fade away simply because one person stops showing up. I'm not talking about big commitments, just the small, regular ones. If you say you'll meet someone for coffee every Thursday, be there unless you absolutely can't. If you promise to call next week, mark it on your calendar. These little acts of reliability build trust over time. Think about it. When someone consistently shows up for you, even in small ways, it sends a powerful message. You matter to me. And in a world where so many people feel forgotten, that message is priceless. Of course, life happens. There will be days when you don't feel like going out or when you're just not up for conversation. That's perfectly normal. The key is to communicate. A quick, "I'm not feeling my best today, but I'll see you next time," keeps the connection alive. It's the unexplained disappearances that leave people wondering. Now, let's talk about habit number 7, embrace technology, but don't let it replace real connection. I know, technology can feel overwhelming, but used the right way, it can be an incredible tool for staying connected. Video calls with faraway grandchildren, texting photos to old friends, even joining online groups for hobbies you love. These digital bridges can keep relationships thriving when in-person visits aren't possible. The trick is balance. A Facebook message is great, but it shouldn't always replace hearing someone's voice. A quick phone call takes the same amount of time as typing out a long email, and it feels so much more personal. Start small. Maybe ask a tech-savvy friend or family member to show you how to make a video call. Before you know it, you might find yourself having virtual coffee dates with friends across the country. Here's the beautiful truth about all these habits. They build on each other. When you reconnect with old friends, you create opportunities for new routines. When you show up consistently, you deepen those connections. And when you're open to both technology and face-to-face moments, you ensure that no friendship has to fade away just because life changes. Now, I want to leave you with this thought. Loneliness isn't a life sentence. It's a signal, a reminder that we're wired for connection, no matter our age. And the wonderful thing is, it's never too late to answer that call. Every conversation started, every invitation extended, every memory shared is a step away from isolation and toward belonging. So why not start today? Call that old friend you've been thinking about. Smile at someone at the grocery store. Share a story with your neighbor. These small acts might feel insignificant at first, but together they can transform your world. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Have you reconnected with someone recently? Made a new friend in an unexpected way? Share your story in the comments below. Let's inspire each other. And if you found this helpful, don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more conversations about living your best life at any age. Remember, the richest friendships aren't measured in years. They're measured in moments. Here's to creating many more of them.